Hey friends, welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're going to take a look at this knife. This is the SRM Terrier. SRM SanRenMu Knives Terrier. This is one of their newer knives, and it's got a new proprietary steel blade that I think you're probably going to be interested in. We've got a crossbar lock, full-size folder, and thumb stud deployment. I think you'll be interested in this knife. It comes 7 different ways. There's 4 ways with this steel, and then there's 3 different color G10 handles with D2 steel. That's either stonewash, satin, or blackwash. So yeah, there's 7 in total different ways of getting this knife, and I think you're going to be interested in that. Now, just before we get into that, I'm recording this just before I've got a family celebration this weekend. We've got cookie decorating day. We've got little gingerbread cookie houses. Each person, the grandkids, the kids, and my wife and I each get one, and we assemble it and we create this little village. And each person's got their own, and it's kind of fun. And we do other cookies as well. It's just a good get-together thing, before Christmas, part of Christmas time stuff. Now, if you saw the video for the BPS Knives Fin Light, I've done what I said I was going to do. I think I got that tied back on properly. I think Simon might be a little bit, saying that's not tied up right, but who knows. Got the lanyard on. I've sealed up the ash wood, and I've put on a 25-degree total, 12.5 degree total, 12.5 degree per side angle on there, and I like that better. Now, I've just done the edge, so it looks, I haven't done the whole bevel because why waste steel? Every time I sharpen it, it'll come back and it'll look like a traditional Scandi bevel soon. But I'm liking this knife, but I do stand by. I do wish it had a harder steel, a steel that wouldn't lose its edge as quickly. But for what you get for the price with a nice real leather sheath, this is a really good deal. Now, let's get to the tabletop and take a good close look at the Terrier. Okay, so let's take a good close look at this knife, and you'll see what looks like a hamon on the steel. This steel, I should clean it up to make it look better. I got my fingerprints all over it because I actually carry and use my knives and test them out. So it looks like a hamon. That's because this is sort of like a Sanmai construction for this steel. The core steel here is being called 140 CR. Now what it really is, it's 140 CR 14 MOV 3NB. That's the full designation. So we're just calling it 140 CR. It's a new steel that's developed for SanRenMu. Hopefully the whole SanRenMu family will get this. That means SanRenMu and Real Steel as well will get this steel because it's quite good. It's a lot like S35VN, not quite as refined, not quite S35VN standards, but it's fairly close. And my experience with it so far, says that, yeah, I think it's fairly close to an S35VN, although, it's slightly inferior. Now, they did make it, just as a solid blade for some, but what they decided to do to make it tougher is they've got sort of a new method. It's a molten method of applying stainless steel, a more basic stainless steel to the outside of the core. So the core is the really high grade, steel. It's not super premium stainless steel, but it's a high grade stainless steel, blade steel. And then we've got softer stainless steel on the outside here. So if anybody does take this and try to do a hardness test, you don't test up there, you have to test the core steel. And they say it's, between 61 to 63 Rockwell hardness. So let's say 62 Rockwell hardness is what they expect this steel to be. I don't have a Rockwell tester to test it. But we've got this nice satin finish, and it looks good. It looks like it's got a hamon on there, and I'm kind of digging it. This is a full-size folder. I'll give you all the exact dimensions later on, but roughly 8 inches and 4.5, 3.5-ish. And I'll give you the exact measurements later on. We got a drop point blade. We've got a swedge up here just to help it, get that looks. And if you're doing piercing, it just helps it flow in just a little bit better. We've got thumb studs for deployment. We've got a little bit of jimping on the spine. Other than that, it's a rounded spine. So you don't get an awful lot of traction with your thumb on that jimping. So you know me, I like to have traction with my thumb on here, so I'd like a little more aggressive jimping, and maybe it coming out a little bit further would be nice. So there's that. Now, the blade steel isn't the only unique thing. 4 of the versions are with this, so it's either this sort of bead blast look kind of finish, or you can get a blackened finish, which I think looks really sharp. I wish I would have got that one. So the blade, yeah, good stuff. This handle, we've got a crossbar lock, as you can see, and back here, that looks different. That's not a backspacer. You got a little bit of a backspacer back here, this black section with a pin for a lanyard hole, but this isn't. This is, what are they calling this? They're calling this the mono chassis liner. You might want to call it an integrated liner. So that's one piece of steel. This piece of steel here and this piece of steel here for the liners, it's one piece and it folds over. So that's a little bit unique. Now, SanRenMu also does it with a partial one where it's not the whole way back. It's just a section in here. And you'll see that in future reviews from SRM Knives. But this one's got the full mono chassis liner. And I like it. We've got micarta here. You can get micarta in this green. You can get it sort of, I don't know what they call it, brown. I didn't look up the colors. And then you get G10, a couple different colors. So yeah, pretty nice. And the milling here, we've got a cove milled here. We've got a bit of a cove milled here, an extra, section there. And it fits pretty nice in the hand. Now my hands are in the extra large range according to the width. I got smaller fingers, but the width of my hand. So I've got a pretty big hand this way, and there's lots of real estate for me to grab that knife. And it feels quite good in the hand. It's a decent sized knife without being heavy, without being awkward. The balance point is right over the index grip, which is what I like. So that's quite nice. We've got another unique thing on this knife, and that's the SanRenMu pocket clip. And these two pieces of steel, you pinch them together and you wiggle, and it's got little catches on there, and you can just take it right out. So if you don't want a pocket clip, it looks great without a pocket clip. Or if you're left-handed, then you just go and put it in the other side and click it in, and it holds. And it actually holds very well. It's a good pocket clip. Let me pull out my pants here, and there you go. It's a good pocket clip that holds on, and it looks good. It's even got a fuller milled into there, and we've got a little bit of their logo put in right there. It's a good pocket clip, and they've done a really good job with it. And you'll see in a future video on the 259, this is the 258L. On the 259L, they've got another modification for this pocket clip, makes it even nicer. So that's sort of an overview of this thing. How about the badging? I mentioned, you got the SRM there. You've also got the SRM on the pivot pin right there. On the back here, SRM, stay ready for more. Of course, 4 isn't one of the letters. Stay ready for more is their motto in English. And deploy the blade, and you see SRM here. At least it's not huge. Let's get the focus here. It's small, and it says stay ready for more. So SanRenMu is doing a little more badging than they need. They don't need SRM in 3 different places on their knife and then stay ready for more there. But at least they're not making it too terribly huge. So there's that. On this side, we've got the model number, 258L. This is -MG2. So micarta green 2 for this one. At least that's what I'm assuming it means. And then there's a unique serial number right there. Now, the one thing this misses that most SanRenMu knives have is a designation of the steel printed on the blade. They don't have that on this one. So, I don't know. Maybe they're thinking about a different nomenclature for a 140 CR. I don't know if they've totally settled on that or not, but there you go. Oh, by the way, if you think you like this steel, I'll have a link down below of all their knives that utilize this steel, so you can choose, you know, different knives. They've got a nice titanium knife with this steel with a really cool look to it. It's just looks awesome. And I think I'm going to get the darkened blade next time. But there you go. So that's it. Now, how about how well does this cut? Yeah, it cuts well. It's comfortable in hand. It doesn't get too hot in the hand for extended use. It's not the super most comfortable knife, but it's pretty good. And this edge has held up really well. It's cutting well, slicing, and piercing's okay. It's not a super piercing knife, but cutting and slicing works really well with this thing, and I'm happy with it. Lock up, yeah, no blade play side to side, up and down. Access lock, they've got it dialed in. The spring tension is perfect for it. I can operate it with one hand, but it's not too soft. Or of course I can operate it with my thumb, or both. Or you can just take the thumb stud and deploy the blade with the thumb stud, and it's just a happy little knife. Well, not too little. It's a happy knife. I really like the lockup and everything. Now, before I do a teardown on it, let's go over all the dimensions and sizes and specs and all that stuff. Just grabbing my sheet so I got it handy. The weight of this knife is 95 grams. That's 3 1/3 ounces. Not bad, not too heavy for a big knife. The sharpness of this knife, on my own testing, on my best tester, the average score is 160 best, which isn't bad at all. That's a pretty good sharpness. And it's kept sharp for a long time. It's not super sharp right now because I've cut an awful lot of stuff with this for my testing, but it held the edge very well. The length of the cutting edge, you know, straight line from the tip to the heel of the blade, is 87.5 millimeters, 3.44 inches. Length of the blade from the tip to the liner right there, that's 90.1 millimeters, 3.55 inches. So yeah, I'm calling it a 3.5 inch blade. The thickness of the blade steel, that is 3.01 millimeters, which is 0.1185 of an inch. So it's just a little bit under 1/8 of an inch, not much at all, just a tiny bit. The blade depth, that's this measurement, 26.8 millimeters, 1.05 of an inch. The thickness behind the grind, so that's the sharpening grind or the secondary bevel. How thick is the main bevel just behind the secondary bevel? 0.39 millimeters, 15 thousandths, and that's the same all the way until we get like very, very close to the tip. Then it's a little bit thicker right up there. So that's nice and thin. It's part of the reason why it slices so well. The handle length, not counting the pocket clip because that sticks out just a little bit. The handle length, 113.6 millimeters, 4.47 inches. So 4.5 and 3.5 equals your 8. The grip area, it's right around 100 millimeters or 4 inches. So full-size knife. The thickness of the handle on the outside here, not counting the crossbar locks sticking out, just on the micarta, 13.3 millimeters, 0.523 of an inch. So just barely over half an inch. The handle depth within the grip area, it's a little bit more there, but within the grip area, the widest point is 25.4 millimeters, 1 inch. And when the knife is closed, the widest point is 28.6 millimeters, 1.13. So that's right around 204 millimeters or 8 inches for the total length. How much does this knife cost? Well, I've got a referral link for you down below at srmknives.com. Use my referral link, my discount code CCE for 10% off. It's the same at White Mountain Knives. Same price, same discount code for 10% off. So $64.95 US. The D2 version is $49.95 US. So there you go. If you're in Canada, Blades Canada has these in stock in the country. $82.99 Canadian for the higher end steel, $59.99 Canadian for the D2. So the price difference isn't that bad between Canada and the States. You actually are saving a little bit of money right now with our dollar doing so poorly compared to the American dollar. Yep, there we go. I just knocked a lens cover for my camera on the floor. That's what that sound was. So if you're in Canada, definitely go ahead and get it at Blades Canada. And there you go. So if you're around the world somewhere else, yeah, SRM Knives, use my referral link down below. That helps out the channel a little bit. So I'm not going to do a full teardown, but I'm going to do a partial teardown of this, and I'll show you how it's made. So let's see, that's my T6, that's my T8. So the first thing we're going to do is take the pocket clip off, put that to the side, take the T8, and we'll undo the screw on the pivot. Once it comes out, there's no thread locker on that screw, and it's got a nice big wide head on it. And let's show you how this is made. We've got a T6 back here. There we go. And again, there's no thread locker. Nice big heavy screw in terms of the size of the head and everything. And there's the G10. And now you can see, you know, the little bit of skeletonizing in here. You can see this is one piece folded all the way over. There's the springs. We've got a D-shaped hole right there. I'll give you a close-up of that. I'm not going to take it further apart than this, but that's how it's made. It's going to be, oh, I was going to show you that. The pocket clip, see those notches right there? Well, that's what sits in there. So the clips click in and sit in there. There's not a perfect picture to get the light in there, but you can sort of see how that holds in there. So I like that quite a lot. Now the con, everything's got a con, and this thing doesn't have a lot of cons. You know, I'd like more jimping up here, and the access to that lanyard hole, that's a bit tricky, getting paracord through there. 550 paracord is almost impossible to get through there. Now, if it's 550 paracord that's been emptied and you got a nice little, you know, blunt tipped wire, but not very thick, that you can start forcing it around and then pulling it out the other side, you know, you can get paracord through there and everything, but it's not really made for, it's not super great access to the lanyard hole. Now, these springs here are decent springs. I like them. They are a good quality spring, and it's got a nice little loop there. You don't have to find a hole to put it in. It's just got a notch right there. So if you need to put it in, back in because you've taken it off, you can just force it back up. It stays in there nicely. So now I got to take the close-up pictures of these things before I put it back together again. By the way, if you've not subscribed to this channel, if you've watched this far, you know, please consider subscribing. Over about 83% of my views come from people who haven't subscribed to my channel. I could be having a whole lot more success if you would just help me out and hit that subscribe button. It really would help. How much do I like this knife? Is it worth the price? I do. I think it's totally worth the price. It's a good, comfortable knife. It's a full-size folder that doesn't weigh a lot, that's got a very decent steel for the blade, and it's got something special, you know, this laminated sort of sanmai kind of finish. You know, it just looks really good. And yeah, I really think I'd get the black blades if I was going to buy one of these for myself. And it's quite nice. The G10 is very comfortable in G10. The micarta is very comfortable in hand. The G10 is probably pretty good too, but I like the extra grip that micarta gives, and without getting thick and heavy in the hand. And it's so easy to carry, and full depth pocket clip that you can take off if you want to, or use the lanyard. This is a nice knife. If you're looking for a folding knife that has, you know, a nice drop point, utilitarian, very EDC-able kind of blade, you know, SanRenMu has got you covered. They've got some sales going on right now, so go ahead and check out their website and check out some special stuff that they've got there for a good price, or shop at your local store and consider getting a SanRenMu knife. I've reviewed, I think, 130 of their knives, and you know, I bought almost all of them, and so I've loved this company for a long time, and I've appreciated the products that they make for a very long time. So this is far from a sellout on my part. This knife makes me quite happy. So there you go, the Terrier, the 228L is a recommended knife by me. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.